Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar. We will start within 1 minute. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining once again. Today, I'm excited to present new version of Labyrinth, the newest evolution of our deception platform. As you all know, we built it to make the threat detections faster and make security operation even more effective. So welcome. Can someone maybe confirm, Dmitro, do you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Hello.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Hello. So yes, today I'm joined by Dmitro, a member of our support and implementation team, who helps our customers to successfully deploy the platform and get most of it. So if you don't know Dmitro, then probably it means that your platform is not functioning at the full speed. So yes, let's go to the agenda of today's meeting, and I will just briefly make an introduction. So we will speak today about new authentication methods. We are also extending the systems, the platforms that we support for deploying Labyrinth. We will have new integration with a European leader in terms of firewalls, next-gen firewalls. And we will speak and showcase also the improvements of our API. So version 2.4, I'm once again excited to showcase it to you today, together with our lovely cat, as we love to play with hackers. We love to have also fun. So some numbers. As usually, we present the statistics about our platform. So not only improvements, we also had some bugs which are fixed in that release. It's about 50 tasks of different fields that we have to manage when deploying the platform. For those who are with us on such webinar, reminder, we have 2 major releases per year. We follow still our 80-20 strategy, which means that 80% of feature requests are coming from our customers and great partners, where 20% is the part that our innovation team is working on. So we are now on the spring edition, and once again, reminding a bit about the platforms we support up to the current version. So virtualization is quite strong set of possibilities to deploy Labyrinth. We support Microsoft, Hyper-V, VMware, and Proxmox. We also support bare metal installation, which is quite important, especially for large implementations. The process is very simple. As you know, we don't deliver the hardware. So you find the hardware you would like to use for Labyrinth, you contact our support, and we approve and support the platform of your choice for the subscription duration. Microsoft Cloud is also the cloud environment we support, and starting from 2.4, we will speak about it with Dmitro soon a bit more. We will support AWS. So 2 major players on the cloud providers that are now supported by Labyrinth. So once again, we are talking now about version 2.4. No changes for the autumn edition. 2.5 is coming between September and October this year. So stay tuned. For all the customers who have valid subscription, you are able to use the latest version just by updating it. Version 2.4 was published today. So if you are an existing partner or customer of Labyrinth, just when we finish the presentation, you can click on check for updates, and you should see and be able to download and deploy automatically the latest release. Knowledge base is also updated. So if you have on-prem air-gapped version, you need to download the updates manually, but it's already published on the knowledge base. New website, of course, it's not a webinar on new website, but there is a quite important section on our new website, which is called events. And there is a special type of events called workshop, which is about technical workshop that we are planning now in advance, and we notify you about it. So if you are interested to join us for any of technical session, you are welcome. Our workshops are free of charge, and they are good opportunities to meet our team and also learn or ask for some features during the meetups. It's one-day workshops. We are now this year promoting a lot. As for now, as you can see, we will have some sessions in Poland, Germany, and Czech Republic. But that's just the beginning. We are planning to have much more of this. If for any reason you would like to have it in place, location much more closer to you, just let us know. So now, without further delays, I will pass and ask to share the screen to Dmitro, and we will now showcase 2.4 in more practical way of presenting it. So, Dmitro, the stage is yours.
Yes, thank you, Pavel. I hope you can see my screen. And so let's start a live demonstration of the new features of the 2.4 release. And to start off, this release introduces new ways to authenticate with the Labyrinth web UI. We have added single sign-on using Microsoft Entra ID as the identity provider, as well as LDAP's authentication for Active Directory environments. Alongside the new authentication method, this major release introduces some changes to user management. So let's take a look at how user role assignment works in Labyrinth. As you can see, we have a super user with full administrative privileges, and also ordinary users who can be assigned specific roles. And new in this release, also tenants. These roles and tenants assignments determine access rights and scope a user has within the platform. So as you can see, now ordinary users divided into categories: local user and external user. So local users are managed directly within Labyrinth, while external users are created via integrated authentication methods like single sign-on or LDAPs. Now that we covered the updated user management structure, let's take a closer look at the new authentication methods, starting with Active Directory. So administrators can configure the platform to authenticate users using their Active Directory credentials and using secure LDAPs connections. This allows users to sign into the management web interface with their existing corporate credentials, simplifying access management and aligning with standard enterprise authentication policies. So let's take a closer look on how this looks from Labyrinth perspective. And let me navigate to the web interface. Okay, so now in the settings menu, we have a new section, authentication. And here, as you can see, we can choose main authentication method and also configure chosen authentication method. So for now, as you can see, we have main authentication method local. So it was the default one that we had before. And now, for instance, let's enable LDAPs authentication. We will save it. And let's scroll down and see what exactly, which fields we need to configure. So first, you need to provide your Active Directory domain. Then you will need to provide a group. So users only from this group will be allowed to authenticate to the Labyrinth web UI. And next we have a field in the connection credentials. here you will need to provide the domain name of the domain controller, which will be used for getting information. Also, additionally, you can provide a domain CA certificate for validation of the LDAP certificate, or allow self-signed LDAP certificate. So now let me show you the how you can use it for authentication. So let me show you from the domain controller. So here I have our domain controller, in which we have our security group, Labyrinth users. I can click on properties, and we can see that I have one member in this group, Labyrinth. So let's now try to authenticate using this user. So let's now log out. As you can see, we have an updated login menu, login page, where we need to sign in using our external credentials. So let's use our Labyrinth user and also provide a password. Okay, so now, as you can see, we have a page, assistance required, where a newly created user needs assistance from administrator. So now I will show you what an administrator should do in order to activate this new user. So let's return to login page, and let's log in as a local administrator. Now we can navigate to settings, users. Here we can navigate into new submenu external. And as you can see, here we have our newly created user, Labyrinth. Let's edit it. And we need to assign a role. So let's, for instance, assign administrator and also a tenant of your choosing. And now we can submit. After this, after we assigned role and tenant, user has been activated. And now we can log out and we can log in as external user. So as you can see, we've logged in using credentials for Labyrinth user. And that's how this new authentication method works. Now let's move on to the next authentication method, new authentication method. And this release also introduced support for authentication via Azure Entra ID, allowing organizations to integrate the platform with their existing cloud identity infrastructure. So the integration is based on the OpenID Connect protocol and enables single sign-on. Users can access the management web UI using their existing external accounts without the need for separate credentials. And the configuration process is designed to be simple and lightweight. Guide on how to configure Entra ID SSO single sign-on you can find in our knowledge base. It includes steps that you need to do from the Entra ID side, as well as minimal configuration from Labyrinth side. So the process of the new user creation is similar to LDAPs, and you will need to authenticate with your external credentials. After that, local administrator should assign your user role and tenant. So let me show quickly how does it work from Labyrinth perspective. Let me log out. So we will need to change our main authentication methods to single sign-on. Let me log out as administrator. We will navigate to settings, authentication, and here we'll need to change main authentication method to single sign-on. Let's save it. And as you can see in the single sign-on configuration, you will need to provide only two fields. So it's application ID and also provider domain link. Both these fields are you will find in your Entra ID environment. So now let's log out. And as you can see, our page has been changed. And to log in with single sign-on, just simply click continue with single sign-on. And after that, you will be able to log in, and the process is the same as for LDAPs. Okay, so in order not to duplicate the information, now let's continue to our next feature, new feature, and it is an AWS support. So now it is possible to deploy Labyrinth as EC2 instance to bring deception to your AWS infrastructure. With this feature available, we introduced new type of the Honeynet AWS VPC. You will need to use this new type of the Honeynet to deploy your points to AWS environment. So let me show you how this new type of the Honeynet is created from the Labyrinth web interface. So let's navigate to Honeynets. So in the nodes, I have a worker that is deployed in AWS environment as EC2 instance. And now I can create a new Honeynet. So in type, I will need to choose AWS VPC. I will provide a name, also location, so location of our AWS worker. And from now on, it's pretty the same as for usual Honeynet setup. So I will provide subnet, also gateway. VLAN ID is assigned automatically. And in the allowed IP addresses, I will provide IP addresses from the AWS environment that we can use. So just like that. And also we can enable Cedar proxy. We can assign available IP address for it. I will choose word lists. So from now on, it's the same as usual. We can create some points. Like this, and we can create. So it has been created. Now let's generate. And while we are waiting, so in our knowledge base, so here you will find all the updated information, all the updated images, and also in the installation menu, you will find a guide for installation in AWS. And here you will find step-by-step information how to deploy Labyrinth worker or admin node as EC2 instance, and how to manage IP addresses for points. The image, so we now have a new image type, binary, for AWS deployments. Okay, so now let's so as you can see, we have our points generated, they're all running and stable. So that's basically how the new type of Honeynet works. Okay, so now let's move on to the next topic, and it is integration with Stormshield network security. So this integration works similarly to our integrations with other EDR and firewall products. And the core objective is to decrease response time by automatically isolating an attacker immediately after they interact with the point. Here is a typical workflow for Stormshield integration. So an attacker interacts with a point, then Labyrinth generates an alert, and if the alert severity meets the defined threshold, Labyrinth will send an API request to Stormshield, and after that, Stormshield will add attacker IP to the blacklist. So now let's see how this works in practice, and I will navigate to the Labyrinth web interface to show you the integration configuration. So let's log in. Let's navigate to settings, integrations, and here we have our Stormshield integration. Let's edit. And as you can see, in the configuration menu, you will need to provide host IP address of the Stormshield appliance, also port for API. So by default, Stormshield uses RESTful API and uses 143rd port. Next, you will need to provide user credentials with sufficient rights to add IP to blacklist. And after that, you can enable host isolation. Here you will need to provide an expiry time in seconds. So for how long IP address will be blacklisted. So here I have 3 minutes. And also you can set it to 0 if you want no expiry time. In such case, you will need to manually delete IP address from blacklist. So let's set it to 3 minutes. And the last field is severity, where you need to choose from which alert severity you want your integration to trigger. So for example, let's choose medium. So we can close it. And now let's test this integration. So I have my host. It will try to execute malicious request on one of our points. So as you can see, it will try to execute local file inclusion. So let's execute it. So it has been done. And now we can navigate to alerts. And let's wait for new alerts to appear. So as you can see, we have a freshly generated alert. Its severity is high. And now we can try to ping the host. So as you can see, host is not accessible. And let's navigate to Stormshield. Let's log in. And now let's navigate to monitoring. And here we have blacklist. And as you can see, we have our host in the blacklist, and expiry date is for another 2 minutes. We can manually delete it. So it has been deleted. And now, as you can see, ping request has started to work. So that's basically how the integration with Stormshield works. And now let's move on to the next topic. And it is the last topic of our presentation. It's the new and updated API methods. So in this release, we introduced several quality of life updates for the API. And you can now filter alerts by various criteria within the paginate alerts fields, allowing you to quickly extract exactly the data you need. Additionally, we've added a new create user method. This enables you to automate the onboarding process for new colleagues and streamline user management. So let's start demonstration from the API documentation. As always, it is accessible from the admin web interface by the API path. And as you can see, we have paginate alerts, and we've added a new filter for this method. And let's take a look at the updated paginate alerts method, and let's use filters by different fields. And let's, for example, filter alerts by the reason sensitive data leak detected in order to extract alerts from dark web monitoring module. So for this, I will use Postman. So here is our request. So as you can see, it will request a list of alerts sorted by timestamp and filtered by reason sensitive data leak detected. So let's send it. And as you can see, we've received a list of alerts that fulfills the criteria. So with this, you will be able to faster analyze your alerts and extract needed information from the labyrinth. And now let's check another method. So a new method, create user. So as you can see from documentation, all you need to provide is user's name, password, and role. So let's create a user using this method. So I have prepared a request. So it will be a simple user with simple password. And let's send it. Okay, so it has been created. And we can also check in the Labyrinth UI if it has been created. We can filter it by username, user 1, and here it is, our newly created user. So thank you very much, and I wish you a great day ahead. That was all from me.